My name is Gbola Oba, the project visionary for ULDA, but today we'll be having a chat with one of the most prominent, one of the most strategic senior engineers that made the conceptualization of this idea to become reality. He is actually the Dean of Faculty of ULDA, and it is my pleasure to introduce Engineer Babatunde Faleye. Good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Would you be kind enough to tell our viewers your background, your area of specialty, and why amongst the many hundreds of thousands of engineers out there, you are the person upon whose shoulders all that dream is cast?
Well, I am Faleye Babatunde, as Mr. Gbola Oba has introduced me. I'm a civil engineer, structural inclined. I am a Nigerian, first and foremost, and I've been studied here in Nigeria, Lagos State Polytechnic, Yaba College of Technology, OND and HND. I had to furthermore, this took me out of the shores of the country to do a top-up program, getting my BSc in civil engineering structural model. Doing that, I did well, and I was advised to progress into the master's and then the doctoral program of studies. Upon return back to Nigeria, I floated my construction company, and in the course of doing business, I found difference in the ways of operations. Construction operations are being handled here in Nigeria, and that's from the UK. We were onto it, trying to see how best to get it onto how it is being done in the UK, but there was a gap that was noticed. We noticed that we had very outstanding engineers, professionals here in Nigeria, but the skilled artisanry was very deficient.
So Nigeria turned out to be a peculiar situation where they are more generals than soldiers.
Yes.
And it should be the other way around.
The other way around.
It should be
The
more
pyramid
general
is
to
upside down. Pyramid is more like upside down here in Nigeria.
Having made that observation, you kept on very unusually for a diaspora, for an ex-diasporian or a returnee, you kept on believing in Nigeria, still fastidiously running your business when you had the opportunity to go back out again, because you had a lecturership position sealed and delivered in your alma mater in the United Kingdom.
University of Gbola.
University of Gbola, and then now Southwest University. You had offers of employment from ranging from Europe to United States of America.
Yes.
So what's the joker?
Well, the catch for first and foremost will be I am a good African. I love my base. I love home. I'm an homely person, and at the end of the day, you don't want to stay abroad all through life. One, and two, because of the family, I had to return home. Three, I have a thriving business. before leaving the shores of this land.
Thriving
Construction
in
business.
construction.
Yes.
So after your HND,
Yes.
you had kick-started
Oh yes, I
a
started
construction.
a construction company.
And before your departure to go
Yes. Further in my studies.
further your studies, you had commenced commercial activities in
Nigeria.
in the area of civil engineering.
Oh yes.
So the assets you built in Nigeria.
Yes, I had a sizable clientele, you know, that I had grown over time, and of course whilst I was abroad studying, I got lots of calls, especially when I was doing my doctoral program. I had to come home a couple of times to see to some projects, ongoing projects that are being done by engineers within my company, and I was compelled in the midst of my program to come sit and make do a mass construction business that we got.
So you are basically telling me now, without wanting to be loyally, that the economic opportunities residual in Nigeria may also be one of the chief reasons why
I returned.
Why you returned? You
Well,
don't have to answer that. Why, when we first had discussion about starting a school or an institute where excellence in building and construction artisanship and indeed middle-level managerial construction skills, why would somebody who is doing well as a construction entrepreneur, a civil engineer, why did you buy into it? What was the motivation?
well, for starters, my background whilst I was at the United Kingdom was into education. So
You were forced into education because
yes,
when you did well at your first degree, you were encouraged to go for your master's.
Yes.
You did well in your master's, they encouraged you to do doctoral program. And whilst you were doing your doctoral program, you were made to lecture the undergraduate classes.
Yes. So I developed likeness for teaching. One and two. How would you rate success if not imparted? How would you rate how successful you are if you don't end up maximizing or replicating yourself in other individuals? To me, I feel you would just be you are like an egocentric somebody that would you've acquired all the knowledge, all the know-how, because you were fortunate, because you could afford it, because it is not cheap. Otherwise, you have a scholarship grant. It is not cheap studying abroad, but you've studied abroad, you've excelled. You are back home. You are in that same business making money. How would you rate excellence if you don't impart that knowledge?
Another line of question that is actually agitating my mind at this juncture is, whilst you were in England as a student, as a lecturer, did you at any point in time engage in field works?
Oh yes.
And when you came back to Nigeria, what was the magnitude of the cultural shock you had in your field of specialization?
Well, I won't call mine much of a cultural shock. One, because I practiced before leaving, but I was opportune to be in a comparison mode. You know, I could compare. Okay, when I got to the UK, I could easily compare, this is what we were doing. What we were doing was wrong. You know, I can see how it is being done or how it should be done. And upon my return, I tried to correct those ways. Firstly, by training my in-house engineers and member staffs, you know, imparting knowledge in them and encouraging them to study some more. Because, you know, the internet has given a broad base for you to acquire knowledge today. But you find out that most of our men would use the internet for different other reasons.
I remember that when I first met you, this was about over a year now, and whilst we were discussing the parameters of how to kickstart ULDA, the Center of Excellence in the building of constructions, artisanal skills and middle-level managerial skills, site managerial skills. I remember that you had to travel to United America to go undertake an examination. And I was wondering how could a man who in every material particular seemed to me to be doing well in Nigeria and still had the opportunity to alternately go practice in our kingdom. What was the exam about and what was the...
Well, the exam was to become a member, to get absorbed into the membership program of the ASCE, the American Society of Civil Engineers. You know, you don't own monopoly of knowledge, one, and knowledge is limitless. You know, there is this upskill, you know, thing that they do abroad. Every now and then, I have been an observer of the ASCE for some time. You know, I have subscribed to their reports. They give weekly reports, and I see a lot of good in what they do, which is part of what I would even want to replicate with our institute in the near future. Every now and then they train via mails, via podcasts, you know, and they retrain us, they retrain engineers, they retrain individuals. And I was like, if I can get into this sort of society, it will be beneficial for me as a person and for my business, because I get to learn some more, I get to interact a lot more. If I have challenges in any of my field, I have a pool of intelligence, you know, to rub minds with. What propelled my education the most was not being admitted as a member of CORE
in Nigeria. And you felt slighted.
Oh yes, I did. I did feel slighted, but it helped me at the end of the day. It made me advance in knowledge.
You took the course of not just capitulating, but using it as a propeller to self-develop yourself. Yes, so that led you in the direction of England or United Kingdom, Wales, and acquired a couple of more certificates in Wales. You know, field works in United Kingdom. I came back, and the business seemed to be growing because I met you in relatively materially comfortable circumstances. Well, my opinion. I know you play the modesty kind of that, and you still felt for self-edification and self-discipline, you still had to go to the ASC.
And I still have a lot more to do.
But I am sitting here thinking, how are you translating the wealth of of exposures, experiences that you've garnered literally across the world now. How are you translating it? I know recently you were in Dubai with one of our principal partners in this ULDA project, who is a senior project management consultant in Dubai. And I know you were still on the field learning, and how are you translating that to this new baby that you...
Well, in translation, we share experience. You know, experience give birth to inventions. Inventions are solutions to problems, which is what civil engineering is all about. It's about simplifying the problems that we all have. And if you don't share your experiences, people don't learn. They don't learn, they don't gain. And if there is no gain in what you acquire over time, it is a waste.
My final question: if I see an older alumnus, say 1 year down the road,
Okay.
or if I meet an older alumni, say 1 year down the road, or let me even be more specific now, apart from the students in the artisanal classes, construction, carpentry, plumbing, domestic electrical installation, steel fixing,
Site management.
block, bricks, plastering and finishes. Now, let's say if I run into an alumna or an alumnus of the older site engineering class, quote unquote, which you people call site supervision class, what would be the signature, practice signature, that should, observing the character, make me think, you know what, you didn't go to a conventional skills finishing school in Nigeria, or you must have acquired some experiences unique to you, which the larger ecosystem, construction industry ecosystem, does not seem to
hone now. Well, you just answered your question. Is the difference. The difference. You spot the difference once you see any of our alumni. You see them anywhere. The use of tools, or the character, communication.
Tools are everywhere.
Tools are everywhere. Modern tools, use of modern tools, their character, their communication skills, the way they carry themselves, the way they work with professionalism. You'll be inclined to conclude that this man or woman must have studied abroad.
I tend to hear you and your fellow senior faculty members accentuate precision in measurement, quality of materials. I tend to see you guys emphasize ability of all students, irrespective of the course that they are undertaking, to be able to read drawings, apart from the drawings related to their trade, but with the basic architectural drawing, understand the iconography and this. What relevance? I'm sitting here as a layman thinking, and they come again. They've been to the abroad. they've been to ULDA, and now they're coming here to tell us to be, to make paper our God.
Well, Mr. Oba, when we started this interview, I explained to you the disconnect that I felt when I got back to the country to practice construction. And the disconnect wasn't that we didn't have artisans. Yes, we had artisans, but we didn't have skilled artisans. Now, who is a skilled artisan? A skilled artisan is someone that had studied and undergone the mentorship of an experienced and a professional hand. There's a deep difference with the way things operate. Of course, we have a few construction companies in Nigeria that operate on the higher scale, but then you find them importing artisans in to do those duties. Whilst we have artisans here that could upskill themselves, get better at what they do, and they get to that same category of the expatriates that are brought in to fulfill those activities. But we don't. You just picked on drawing interpretation. You have an artisan that can't read drawings. What sort of headache do you think the site engineer would have? Now, the site supervisor is meant to oversee from a minimum of 7 groups of trades, artisanal trades on site, to a maximum of well about 200. All of them can't read drawings. Imagine the dilemma, the disconnect, the error that they would get that,
which also will translate to wastage, cost overshoot,
collapse, to translate to collapse,
structural problems,
yes. So
ultimately fatalities,
which could have been averted if you trained the artisans. Just train them. Measurement is key in any trade. In the course of taking our trainees, we've had trainees, tradesmen from the tiling sector, from the bricklaying sector.
These are practicing artisans.
Enroll with our institute, and in the course of taking them through measurement, you find out that they don't know how to convert properly. You tell them to convert a meter into millimeters, and they have challenges. So they can't measure properly. How do they translate the drawings? One, even if they can't read drawings, how do they translate instructions from the site supervisor to reality? How do they perform? They end up making mistakes. If the site engineer or site supervisor doesn't see those mistakes on time, they could be very brilliant.
And just about when we're getting to the most stimulating, intellectually engaging part of the interview, we have limited time. We have to wrap it up this time around, but I am cocksure there will be many opportunities soon enough for us to do parts 2, 3, and more of this, because at the end of the day, for somebody like me, it should be about those artisans, those characters, getting them to the level where they can play on the same field as artisans in other advanced building and construction markets.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure. It's nice. Thank you so much.
This is where we wrap it up today with Engineer Babatunde, Faleye, the Dean of Faculty, Universal Land Direct Academia, and a prominent member of the team that is actually translating what many of our instructors, many of our facilitators had experienced whilst they were in the diaspora, or some were still in the diaspora, translating it to the beneficence of the industry in Nigeria by imparting knowledge into the ranks of our artisans and middle-level construction site managers.